morning, students. Welcome to new lecture series on structural analysis. So in this lecture we'll give a brief introduction to structural analysis. So to begin with, let's see why is structural analysis important. Okay. So the primary aim of structural analysis is to evaluate the response of a structure when it is given some loading. So structural analysis is a very important prerequisite for any design purpose, right? So we know that depending on the type of structure and the purpose it has to serve, the structure will be subjected to various loads such as self-weight, live load, wind load, earthquake load. Apart from this, the structure will also be subjected to some external factors such as support settlement due to the weak soil conditions, etc. Okay. So when these loads are applied on the structure will respond so that to accommodate these loads. Okay. So the structure response includes deflection. So structure will be deforming. So this is generally termed as deflection. Structure will also develop some resistance or stress resultants, which are axial forces, shear forces, and bending moment. And also they will develop some support reaction in order to balance the applied force. So these are the main outputs we get after doing a structural analysis. Okay, sometimes response is also called as behavior. So now let's see the actions in frame structure. So all the forces and couples acting in a structure is collectively called as actions. So here I have taken a small element of a structure and the Cartesian coordinate is marked. X is along the length of the length, then Y is above and Z is out of the plane. Okay, so you can see that X and Y coordinate is in the along the or is in the cross section and X coordinate is along the length of the element. Okay, so for any structure there will be three forces acting. There can be three forces acting. One force along x-axis, it will be called as axial force, and the other two forces acting along y and along z are on the plane of the cross section, so this can be called as shear forces. Okay, again before moving on to the moments, we should understand the vector rotation of moment. Okay, so we have learned moments earlier in terms of clock, whether it is clockwise or anti-clockwise and about which axis. Okay, so this double-headed arrow is the vector representation of moment about the x-axis. So here you can see t with a double-headed arrow. So double-headed arrow always indicates a moment. So here the right hand thumb rule is used. So point your right hand thumb rule along the double-headed arrow and the direction in which your finger folds is actually the moment. So here t is a moment about x-axis. So any moment about its longitudinal axis is called as torsional moment. Okay, and the sense of it is given by the direction in which your finger closes. This is given in your figure. Okay, so other two moments are actually about y-axis and z-axis. So these two moments can be called as bending moments. Okay, so now let's see different types of frame structure. So frame structures are basically those structures whose components have significantly larger length compared to the cross-sectional dimensions. Okay, so starting with the simplest one is the beams. So beams are linear elements. They are primarily flexural elements which can resist bending moment and shear force. Sometimes it can also resist axial force. So That's it. Types trusses. So first one comes is plain truss. So the major important point noted in plain truss is that all the joints will be pin or hinge joints. Okay, you can see everywhere all the joints is a pin joint in a plain truss, and hence the members can carry only axial loads. Okay, and the loads in a truss are primarily applied on the joints. Okay, so in some cases the loads can happen in the can be applied on the members also. In such cases the members will be subjected to some local bending moment. Okay, however in no case you can apply a torsional moment on the members of a truss. Okay, so that's about plain truss. Next question is space truss. This is very similar to plain truss only. The only difference is that it is a 3D structures and the member can span in all 3 dimensions. Okay, here also the member are connected at a pin joint or hinge joints. So here also the major load carrying mechanism is the axial load transfer through the members. Okay, here and here also the members are not preferably loaded. However, in no case the members should be loaded with twisting moments or torsional moments. Okay, the next one is plain frames. So unlike trusses, the major difference in the frames is that the joints in the case of planes are always rigid. Okay, and these types of frames you can know are used in the case of huge warehouses and factories made up of steel cross sections. Okay, so the important things to note is all the forces in the plane frames lies in the plane of the frame, and all the couples will be normal to the plane of the frame. So in that case you can see that you can have vertical forces, horizontal forces. You cannot have any forces coming out of the plane. So there are two forces, and you can only have the forces which are normal to the frame. Okay, couples which are normal to the frame. So in that case you can have only one moment, which is M set. Okay, so next one is grids. So grids are primarily those structures which span across in the horizontal plane. Okay, so this is exactly opposite to the plane frames. So grids can always support the forces which are perpendicular to the grid, and the couples which are lying in the grids. That means the grids can support forces which are perpendicular to the grid, and also the twisting moments which can come in the grid. So these grids are used in the case of complex roof designs, etc. The last one is space frames, which is the most general form of a frame structure. These space frames can support all the kinds of loads such as bending moment, shear force, axial force, or torsion. Okay, for now let's see the deformation which can occur once these loads are applied or actions are applied in the frame structures. So as I discussed, when an axial force is applied, axial force is something which is along the linear length of the member. So when an axial force is applied, the member can deform axially. Okay, when a shear force is applied, which is a force on the cross section, it can be either Vy or Vx. In that case, the member will shear or member will tear down, like you tear a paper. Okay, when the bending moment is applied, bending moments are those moments which are perpendicular to the length. Okay, so when a bending moment is applied, the structure will mainly bend. So bending is sometimes also called as flexion. Okay, and when the torsional moment is applied, that is moments about the length of the member is applied, the elements will rotate about its axis. So based on the predominant forces acting on the various types of structures, the significant deformations are, in case of beams, the significant deformation is only flexural, only majorly only bending is happening in case of beams, and in case of trusses, majorly only axial deformations are happening. In case of plane frames, both flexural and axial deformations happen, and in case of grids, both flexural and torsional deformations can happen. Okay, and finally, in case of space frames, it can accommodate all the axial, flexural as well as torsional deformation. Now finally we will discuss two important aspects of structural analysis, or two important equations of structural analysis, which is equilibrium equation and compatibility. Okay, so as the name suggests, equilibrium means the state of rest or state of motion. So if that is to happen, the condition is that net force acting on the structure or the body should be 0, and also the net moment acting on the body should be 0. So in the similar line, in case of structural analysis, the equilibrium equation can be represented as resultant force vector must be 0 as well as the resultant moment vector must be 0. So as we already know, there are three forces: force along x, force along y, and force along z. So all these forces should be 0, and also the force about x, moment about y, and moment about z should also be equal to 0. As already discussed, in case of plane frames or two-dimensional problems, there are only two forces acting, which are a horizontal force and vertical force, and there is only one moment acting, which is a moment which is lying on the plane, or whose vector is perpendicular to the plane, right? That is mz is only acting. So in that case only, there we have only three equilibrium equation in case of 2D and 6 equilibrium equation in case of 3-dimensional problem. Okay, compatibility condition. So these compatibility conditions are basically those conditions which are derived from the final deformed shape of the structure. Okay, once the load is applied, the structure will deform according to the support condition and the loading given. Okay, so the deformation should be in such a way that the continuity of the displacement and rotation are ensured throughout the structure. Okay, and also it is compatible with the type of structure support provided. So here you can see an example, like it is a beam structure which is fixed at a hinge at B and a hinge at C. Two loads are acting, 5 kN and 10 kN. So this dotted line is actually the deformed shape, okay, of the structure which you will get after you do an analysis. So here you can see that it follows all the compatibility conditions. Since at a hinge you can permit a rotation which is theta, but you cannot permit any vertical displacement. So displacement is 0, rotation is permitted. Similarly here also displacement is 0, but a rotation is permitted. In case of fixed support, you cannot permit either rotation or displacement. That's why the angle, there is no angle at starting. So angle is 0, theta is 0, as well as deformation is also 0. The one more thing which ensures the continuity is that you can see that this is called as theta. This theta and this theta, both the angle will be same. You can see that theta B to C is equal to theta B to A. This is also a compatibility conditions. Okay, so more details about structural analysis we will discuss in the coming lectures. Thank you.